the easiest way for people you lead to disrespect you is for you to put us to hold them on a standard that you don't hold yourself on. You can't be okay 100%. This is a continuous journey. Same with what we were talking about, self-awareness, right? You can't, there isn't any point where you'll reach and then you'll be, mimi nimefika. We're experiencing so much as young people. We like our life is very fast, right? And we don't have access to people we can constantly talk to. So the people who've gone through the program and graduated are 355. Right? Hakuna mrucha.
Hello, good people. Welcome to the second episode of Out Podcast, a podcast where transformation isn't just a goal, but a way of being. And today I am so excited and overwhelmed with the love that you've shown to our first episode. The subscriptions, the likes, the comments, the shares, the suggestions, we don't take them for granted. You are helping us build a community around holistic wellness. And as Out Podcast, we appreciate you and we ask you to keep subscribing, sharing, commenting, and bring on more suggestions on how you want the podcast to look like. So on our today's conversation, we have a very interesting guest with us and a very intriguing conversation lined up for you. And this is an amazing person, so stay tuned for that. Our quote for today is, "Don't let fear talk you out of things faith talked you into." And with that, allow me to introduce the guests of today. With us on set today is a young, beautiful lady, an inspiring young leader whose work has had a profound impact on the wellness space. She is the founder and CEO of Finding New Community, an organization dedicated to establishing and providing access to peer-led spaces for young adults in Africa, where they find community, learn, and practice skills so that they can flourish. Beyond her passion for mental health, she also leads Cornucopia, a thriving digital marketing company. In addition, she is a lecturer at JKUAT and currently pursuing her master's degree. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor to present to you the phenomenal Wangui Maina.
Oh, thank you.
Welcome to Our Podcast.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I truly appreciate the invite and thank you for inviting me to Out. Yeah, I know you're going to have a very impactful conversation.
So why should people listen to this conversation?
I believe I'm someone who has been able to move, grow, develop from one character and personality into another. And I've been able to also impact lives in the process, grow companies. What I'd say is I'm in a journey of self-actualization, and it has grown beyond me. It has grown beyond just me studying and being a young individual in Africa, and I'm able to impact lives in the process. And I think anyone who is in pursuit of becoming something greater than they are, maybe there was a footprint there, they should listen in. So you should listen in if you're in that journey, or if you want to catch a glimpse of what it feels like to be pursuing your dreams, because it's a privilege and anyone can create a space where they can be able to pursue their goals and their dreams. And I've been able to do that in a very big or small way, depends with how you look at the situation, right? And yeah, so that's why someone should listen. And also, I think I'm fun, energetic, of course. So you should also listen for a bit of entertainment if that is what you're looking for from a young person. Yeah, so yeah.
Thank you. You have so much warmth. Thank you for gracing our set. And just to start with, you do so many things. You teach, you lead an organization, a mental health centered organization.
Yeah,
you're a great speaker.
Thank you.
You also lead a company that deals with digital marketing. How do all these things connect with your journey?
Oh, that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
So especially when it comes to teaching,
Yeah.
I think I am one of the best teachers I have ever met.
I agree.
I believe I'm one of the best teachers that I've ever met.
Yeah.
And I think when it comes to teaching, I treat it as a moral obligation. And even when you look at other things that I do, they're grounded in the aspect of teaching or passing down lessons. So from an angle of like actually being a lecturer, that's the actual teaching part where everyone can just sit down and see, we have a lecturer in front of us and she's teaching us maybe about entrepreneurship, economics, microeconomics, and such like things. And then when it comes now to finding the community at the backbone of the organization, we have lessons for people to learn about self-awareness, practice soft skills such as emotional intelligence, self-care. So the sessions are grounded in teaching. And I always know that this is a replica of who I am, even if right now I don't do the teaching myself.
Yeah.
And we have peer mentors, peer counselors in the community and in the organization. It's still grounded in teaching. So for the digital marketing bit, I know it's a little bit uh, different to a certain good extent, but you're also helping people communicate their values and you're teaching what you believe in to all people in the world, right? Because people don't buy commodities or anything. They buy maybe your brand, they buy your story, and they buy your value. And you are kind of communicating that. And teaching is also grounded in communication. And that is also what we are doing in the digital marketing space. Although it's a little bit, I'd say, hybrid. It's a hybrid of teaching, right? But you're still teaching the world your values, what you believe in, and why you have this certain product. And that's why it's also very easy for me to be in the marketing space and thrive in that.
Yeah, amazing. So when you talk of teaching so passionately, what does teaching to the core of it make you feel, or what does it add to your life? Is it a source of fulfillment, peace, happiness?
Follow us. No, I'd say alignment. That's the word, alignment. I am very aligned when I'm teaching. And if you've seen me I think I get in my zone. Does that make sense? Like I get in a headspace where, like I know one thing that no one can ever take away from me is my teaching skills, if that makes sense. Like anything can be stripped off, but my good communication skills and me feeling so aligned because who I am right now is because people took their time to teach me. Although now for me, it was at one-on-one. It was like virtual, watching podcasts like this one, right? Right. And that's why you should continue listening. Watching podcasts like this ones are the things that really made me self-develop and really made me the woman that I am today. And that's why as I started, I said it's a moral obligation. And when I teach, I'm in alignment and I know that I have allied myself with why God has placed me here, which is to channel who He is to other people. And I've been able to witness Him in my life. And also, like, just being a vessel to pass that down to other people using different means makes me very fulfilled. But what I am in that state is pure alignment or alignment at its purest state. I don't know if I'm making sense. You're making sense.
Yeah.
But for someone who is watching us, our audience, how would you define to the core of it, like alignment, even in layman's language? Because I don't think everyone understands the concept of alignment. So for you, how does it look like? Okay, so being aligned is it being on purpose? Is it you doing what you feel you like doing? Ama, what does being aligned mean to you? So to me, being aligned is being one with myself. Okay. So there is no segmentation. You see, when you're doing something that you are not aligned with, you usually have the you who's doing it and also the you who's criticizing, the you who is saying, no, you shouldn't be doing this, you should be doing something else. The you that's saying, oh, look at your friends. Like, yes, you're here, but you're thinking maybe about something else that you're supposed to be doing. That's how you know you're misaligned, right? So alignment to me means being one with yourself. You're there and you're fully there. There is no past self, there is no future self. It's you. And sometimes people call it being at the state of flow. So the flow state, right? Or flow state. Yeah, flow state. And someone who really talks about flow state is Steve Jobs. And he used to say the way he used to work for Apple and when he was creating Mac, he was in a state of flow where he could stay locked in for hours just doing something, right? And to me, it's not about hardware or software. It's basically being out there, impacting lives, teaching people some of these skills, right? So it's being one with yourself. If you're in any moment and you are there and you're fully there and there isn't any segmentation, either in your emotional self, in your spiritual self, in your psychological self, like all of you is there manifested, that's been aligned. And the emotion that you will feel is fulfillment, of course. But when you're in it, you're in a state of flow. You are aligned. You are one. You're not in like you're not separate. There isn't any separation. That makes sense.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Yeah. So many people struggle with self-discovery. How are you able to navigate through this process and find yourself?
That's a really good question. How I found myself. So I would say first of all, it has been a journey. Still is. I don't think anyone would ever get to a point where they'd say, I found myself 1,000%. But at least you should be in a position where you put yourself where you are constantly pursuing yourself, basically, and self-discovery and self-awareness. And personally, I grew up in a very communistic home. So in a communistic home, the needs of everyone else is at the top. And then there isn't consideration about what do you as Kenny want. It's about looking at the welfare of everyone else. It doesn't mean you're not considered, but it means it's not considered to your own specific needs. Does that make sense? So it doesn't narrow down to what do you feel like eating. No, is what can we eat and what we like. There isn't this is what you prefer. This is what I like. You get like I remember up until my early 20s. Skipping my early 20s. But up until my like late teens and early 20s is when I started having opinions of what I like and what I don't like. I didn't know that people say May don't like peanut butter, I like blue band. May don't eat that. Like people have opinions over things they like, things they want to consume, things they want to interact with. Like, I didn't know, like, you have the right to have opinion. Does that make sense? So in your communistic home, you have no right to have opinions. It's basically what's good for everyone else. And then you get sucked into what everyone else wants and needs instead of ever asking yourself, do you like the situation? What are your tastes and preferences? What do you want? What don't you want? Right? So, childhood years, formative years, up until teenagehood, like I was a huge people pleaser. I didn't know myself. I didn't even know what I liked, what I disliked. I didn't even know I have a right to have an opinion over things and people, right? It was basically what everyone else wants. And I don't even get to a point where I can ask myself, what do I want? What do I prefer, right? And for me, it is me seeing other people have give themselves right to hold opinions of what they like or what they enjoy is when I was like, yo, it's like a light bulb moment. I'm like, yo, so people usually have opinions over things. So people usually have preferences. So people don't take things because they don't like them. That's because like, what do you mean? You take things because you have to take them. There isn't like you like it or you don't, right? And then, so first of all, watching my close friends have opinions, especially in university, and that really shocked me. And then now moving to also consuming a lot of content, seeing people online talk about self-actualization, that this is something you need to pursue, saying that if you want to know and understand yourself, you need to do things like journaling, you need to meditate, you need to experience your soul. This information is something I didn't have access to until I was 18 years old. So I think 18 for me was a real turning point in such a way that there was a before and after. So Wangui, before she turned 18, she didn't have preferences. She didn't know you can hold the right to have opinions. She didn't know herself. She couldn't even articulate her value system. It was like complete folk, right? And then after, which is one, seeing the people around me know themselves, and even if it's in the most rudimental or juvenile way, right? And then also consuming a lot of content where people tell you if you want to know yourself in all the right ways so that it doesn't turn into being self-absorbed or being selfish, because these are linked to it, right? Yeah, these are linked to being self-absorbed and being selfish to actually knowing yourself and being self-actualized, and them creating a roadmap for me and me actually following it, because there's a phase of where you're getting knowledge and information and you're now applying to your life. So you can meet people who know all these things, but they never practice. The preachers who teach water and drink wine all the time. So someone knows, and we always say like, talk is very cheap. Talk is very cheap. Anyone can talk, right? Anyone can say it's good to journal until you develop a habit of actually journaling. So what helped me like fully discover myself, seeing it, right? Being pulled, because in university you're pulled from your family. So you go and meet other people from other families and then you get to interact with, and you're like, common people have opinions, right? And also like interacting with content that really guided me in that journey with different practices and tools that someone can use so that they can know themselves. Yeah.
So when you're talking of that, I remember a concept that I learned courtesy of finding new community, neuroplasticity. Guys, so what she's, and if you don't know what neuroplasticity is, guys, go check it out. Okay? So from my own understanding, it's the beings that you grew up, what your environment shaped you to become.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the things that you scooped from your environment that makes you who you are.
Yes.
100%. Yes, and influences how you behave and how you socialize with people, how you show up for yourself. So is it a matter of neuroplasticity? The way you didn't know people could have opinions, choices, and speak them out. So can we say for sure the journey of self-discovery starts with awareness?
Everything starts with awareness. I don't feel like, yeah, I say personal development of discovery starts with awareness. It's like putting even a limit to it.
Yeah.
Because everything starts with awareness.
It's the awareness that this is not the normal, might be my normal, is not actually the real thing that should be happening here. And there's also somewhere I heard that you need to label. We come from communities, let me speak for myself, and I'm from a community where we didn't have labels. Like, I grew up in a village, so we didn't have labels like anxiety, depression. Oh God, I just feel stressed. Yeah, do you feel anything that is off? Nikon stress. So we didn't know how to label exactly what we are feeling, how to label. We didn't know how to label emotions or any experiences that we go through in life. So how can people who are listening to us and are in those settings, or they are not privileged enough to get access to this information, how do we encourage them to, like, because they need the information, or they have to cross to this other side of awareness, start embarking on a true self-discovery journey?
Yeah, I agree. But I also disagree with you in the sense that we can't say people don't have access to information right now. Because we are living in a digital age, Kaylee. True or false? It's true. And all the information, including this podcast, where is it?
On YouTube.
YouTube, the International University of YouTube.
Yeah.
Right? So I think people they have access. It's just that they are not pursuing it. Does that make sense? Like most people have phones.
Yeah, most people have phone.
Most people can get bundles, leave alone Wi-Fi. You get what I'm saying, right? Unless we're talking of someone who comes from a very marginalized community. The problem has shifted from access to people actually practicing and pursuing what they learn.
Yeah, I agree.
Because there was a time when truly you had to go to a library to access knowledge and information. And so long as you have this device, you can access anything, right? Like we are told, like a person right now has way more information than a king from Rome 600 years ago. Like you have world-class information, like kingly information, right? So what we should be talking about and what we should be emphasizing to the people who are, and I know most people who are listening, most of them have access.
But let me affect you. You're listening, you have access.
Yeah. You have access. So the question should not be about access. It's more about how can we make the people who are listening to this conversation right now act on the knowledge and the information that they have, number one. And if they're not into personal development, how can we get them into that space? Because I want to understand, like, especially right now with AI and algorithms, it gives you what you consume. And I know most time people are not consuming Stephen Bartlett or G. Shetty or this William, sorry. They're watching TikTok dances about what's trendy, what's not, right? So if we can teach people to pursue the right things, right, it will support you. Like AI will support you even in that journey. That's number one. And then number two, if we can teach people how they can actually act on the knowledge and the information that they have, I think that's where the real pain is with this generation. We are just like overwhelmed and bombarded with a lot of knowledge and information, and we haven't acted on any.
So it narrows down to choice. What do you choose to consume?
100%. And what do you choose after you consume? How you're going to act on it so that it can actually impact and change your life.
So it's a you thing.
1,000%.
Yeah, okay. So what specific gaps did you cite or see in the community that led you to start finding the mental health community?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do not have safe spaces. We do not have community anymore. If there's something that has really isolated my generation and the generation before me and after me also, is social media.
Okay.
Social media it has given us what would I say, an illusion that we are together, but yet we are really separated. That's number one. Number two, we're experiencing so much as young people. We like our life is very fast, right? And we don't have access to people we can constantly talk to. We don't have a community where we can actually learn things that really matter and have a genuine support system in that. And yeah, so I can remember when we were at the genesis of forming the organization, I was just looking at how can I bring my friends. Of course, it has grown beyond that. But the idea was, how can I just bring friends together where we can just talk? Because I'm going through a lot. Everyone is going through a lot. Even if we sit here right now and we start talking about what we are going through and how our week has been and the stress that we have, guys. Hey, we'll start breaking down, right? So, and then most young people say that I don't have someone I can talk to. And we are all struggling with safe spaces. We're all struggling with places where we can go and just talk about our mental health, our struggles, because we're all here trying to look perfect, trying to look like we know it all, trying to look like we are this, the own Madam Lecturer kind of thing. But mutual ground need different, and we know that, yeah. So yeah, and I think community is something that we lack in this generation, and that's why we have so many cases of mental health. And we're just trying to make sure that as the young adults, before we step into like real adulting with kids, marriage, and all, can we be able to find community? Can we be able to learn and practice skills? Can we make most of the young people have access to spaces where they can sit down, talk about their mental health, and it is peer-led? Because we also know that if there's an age gap, Sana, right? Yeah. You won't be able to open up 100%. But if it's you and me talk here, we can be able to have a real and genuine because we have similarity of experiences, meaning I can trust you easily, meaning I can relate to you, and I can open up more.
No. Yeah. So far, your organization has shown that the formula is working. I think you've been able to empower a lot of young people.
Yeah.
Can you give us some numbers?
The number. So the people who've gone through the program and graduated are 355.
Oh, wow. So we are in the wellness space, and this podcast advocates and roots for holistic wellness. What are some of the myths, misconceptions about wellness that you would debunk for us?
Like the first thing that has come to my mind is something that you access. It's like a level you unlock, and then once you get there, you never leave it, right? It's like an achievement. It's like graduating. I graduated, right? It's like wellness is something that you get, and then you will never go back to stress and pressure because now you're self-actualized, and now you've gotten it. There's no like, it's like a utopia. It's like wellness is like a before and after thing. Like you see the way I'm saying, at 18 years old, my life changed. This you guess, it's an icon. It's this no accurate wellness. 1,000%. There isn't. You can never get there. You can't be where like you can't be okay 100%. This is a continuous journey. Same with what we were talking about self-awareness, right? You can't, there isn't any point where you'll reach and then you'll be, mini me fika. null and void, nala. We say nada, none. None, right? Yes. So even in wellness, our misconception that we have is right now, I've I've overcome this pressure. Now I'm okay, right? No, it's like a continuous journey. It's a continuous process. You'll never get there. There isn't anyone who's there. We are all here trying to just know, learn, right? Get to figure things out, but we'll never get. There isn't a there. You know, once I get that, once I get there, I'll be happy. I'll be okay. That's an illusion. We actually call them fallacies of the mind. Yeah.
That's true. I agree. So, what are the biggest lessons that you've learned in leadership so far?
Support system is very important. I think that's the first thing that has come to my mind. When it comes to leadership, you need people to support you in that journey. You can't do it alone. You can't do it alone. You can never ever do it alone. We need people to support you as a person, and you need also a team that you will work with. You can't work in isolation. True. It like you need. I don't know if I'm making sense. You need people to actualize the dream and the mission, and you also need people to support you as a leader. And sometimes it's the same people, sometimes it's not, and that's okay. And then number two about leadership, you can't. The easiest way for people you lead to disrespect you is for you to put us to hold them on a standard that you don't hold yourself on. Does that make sense? Like easy. That's the easiest way people can disrespect you as a leader. For example, let me give you an example. I'm a leader, right?
Yeah.
And then I tell you, keep time, and I'm always late. You'll easily disrespect me, right? So as a leader, you must first hold yourself to a high standard, and then you can hold your people to that high standard. And if you don't do that, what you will just gain in return is pure disrespect. True. Does that make sense?
Makes a lot of sense.
And the third thing I've learned in leadership is, as a leader, the biggest skill that you need to have is emotional intelligence. Because as a leader, you're not leading projects, you're not leading things, you're not leading so that you can accomplish such a template. You're leading people who do the actual work. And for those people, in order for them to do things that you want them to do, you must take care of their emotions. Human beings are very emotional beings. And as a leader, if you're not emotionally intelligent, like you're going to have a really hard time. And I think those are the most profound things I've learned in my journey. You need a support system. Like you need a team, you need people, number one. Number two, you need to hold yourself to a high standard before you hold anyone else.
Yeah.
And number three, the greatest skill you can have as a leader is emotional intelligence, because you do not do the actual work. You lead the people who do the actual work. And for you to lead them, you must take care of them emotionally. Yeah.
That's so profound.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, what is that one book, experience, or lesson that has really shaped your perspective in life?
I think I'll talk about a concept that I fully embody and I fully apply in my life by Mark Manson. Mark Manson is big. Mark Manson is the guy who has written The Subtle Art of ... Okay. You've read that book? You've ever heard of that book?
Oh, we should read that book. It's part of.
Jamani.
Yeah, so
Jamani. But it's okay. Mark Manson is really huge. He's even the guy who has written the autobiography amidst the biography. I don't know the difference, guys. I was really poor in English. Really? Like English was my worst subtext. I don't know what's the difference between autobiography and biography, but he's the one who's written the book for Will Smith. He's the writer of that book. Mark Manson talks about, so it's called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a. So, and he's also written another really good book. Everything is F. A book about hope. Yeah, they're really cool. He's an international bestseller, not New York Science. Like he's sold millions of copies over his book. And there's a really profound conversation that they have with Tom Bilyeu. So if you don't see Tom Bilyeu, go check him out. He has a podcast, Impact Theory, and they talk about 3 key principles that you need to have in life. And they talk about radical responsibility, radical acceptance, and radical growth. Semua Ruderoski. Mark Manson. The honor of the Subtle Art of Not Malaysia. he talks about three main principles in life that you, as a person who wants to really grow and personal develop, should look at and embody: radical responsibility, radical acceptance, and radical growth. I hope umesikia. Yeah, and mainly, the first principle is what I really embody, which is radical responsibility, and just knowing that, like, you are in control. Yeah. And how your life unfolds, you have the hugest percentage of that. And sometimes, even when you have, like, if you hear people who are broke and poor talk, if there's something that is always repeating, no matter the context, even when you listen to people in America who are grow, in Africa, in Europe, whatever it is, like, one thing that they have in common is that they always point the finger to someone else. If you ask them, Beda, why are you here? Why are you struggling? They're like, oh, the economy, yeah. Oh, the government, oh, Kasongo, oh, unemployment. There are no opportunities for the youth. Create those opportunities. Like, I come from a poor background. You know, my father doesn't have a big name in the industry. Like, people do not take responsibility.
Just in someone saying you don't come from a poor background. Right now, the background is you.
It's you. Thank you. Kota sahi. It's you. If you are, the background is you. You are the background. Yeah, you are the poor background. Watch out, guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think it's very important for someone to take full responsibility of their life, yeah, and to take full control and, like, taking the blame, if that makes sense. If anything goes wrong, always know and see and play the part of, like, it is me who has caused this. So how can I change? Because if it's you, you can change it. But if it's not you, it means you're giving the power to someone else and to something else. So it means you can't change the situation. So radical responsibility brings in so much power to you. You get? And I'm not like saying God has no role of where you are and where you're not. But you can't also put your energy and focus on that. Because it will make you a very passive human being. You get what I'm saying? So you have to take radically, not responsibility, radical responsibility of your life. And once you do that, and you have radical acceptance, so whatever the outcome, you accept it, and you ask yourself, since this has not worked out, since I have failed, what did I do? And just focus on that. It's true you had a bad deal, ukaibiwa, or it's true someone backbited you. It's true the economy is bad. It's true the government is not doing anything for the youth. But what can you, as an individual, do something for yourself? Right? What part of this equation do I own? What part of this situation that I'm in? What role am I playing in that?
Yeah.
Take full ownership of that part,
Yeah.
and change it. And from that, you will have something we call radical growth. Not just growth. Radical growth, exponential. Like, if you just implement that in your life. It's true you went to a public school. And it's true you can't speak English well.
Yeah.
True. But what role are you playing in it right now? Now you are the background. You are the poor background. What are you doing so that you can change that, right? So for me, I couldn't speak in English. By the time I was speaking high school, I couldn't ask my high school classmates. Siwaulize vile ilikuwa naongea. So crazy, Mali. Super crazy. Super crazy. You can, like, ask anyone who knew me in high school and they tell you, kidogo sikuwa naweza aje sasa, how now, like, it's so crazy, like, made in Litausheng. Like, I used to, like, speak it, like, cut, like right now you ask me,
And was part of you. You and Sheng, you are one.
no, I was Sheng. I was me. It was me. What are you saying? I couldn't articulate myself well. I couldn't. But I had to ask myself, what role am I playing in this? Right? So I'm only listening to Ghetto Radio. Mbusi na Lion. I mean, senior? Yeah, yes, Ghetto Radio. Mbusi na Lion. But you show you, Baba. You, Baba. You akuna mbarucha.
Hakuna mrcha.
given a chance to speak in front of people, what do people say? I don't have much to say. Asina mingi ya kusema. Habari zenyu, I don't have much to say. Much has been said. You like hauna content, right? But what role are you playing in that? The things that you're doing, the content you're consuming, the people you're interacting with are in that level, right? So if you can go past that, take responsibility, accept it's true. I had to accept. I am not articulate. I can't speak in English. So I had to ask what can I do to get there? So I had to listen to a lot of people who are clear, like articulate people, Akida Stephen Ballet for so many years. And that's why I'm where I am today, right? To an extent where someone can't even trace that person in me right now. So radical responsibility, radical acceptance, and you will experience radical growth.
I'm sitting here and in my head, I'm like, it's so admirable to sit down with someone who talks with so much passion. And I've been privileged enough to see you in your element when you're teaching. And I keep telling you, you're one of the best teachers I've met so far.
Oh, thank you.
And right now, I'm like, she's actually teaching. She's actually teaching. There's more of teaching.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that's
Thank
so
you.
good,
Thank you.
so good,
Thank
so
you.
good.
Thank you.
And I'm just trying to imagine the person you are and the person you are right now. Like how you look, but then you look so nice.
This is how I look today, yes.
So just to ask you, what aspects of holistic wellness have you really adopted in your life and embraced in your day-to-day life to be the person you are? Because it's not only about reading books, listening to motivation or anything that you are able to consume in the print media or any other thing. It involves a lot of things. Holistic wellness is life in general, literally like physical fitness, economic empowerment, nini, nini. So what are some few aspects in the holistic wellness space have you been able to embrace?
I'd like to use the things I've been able to embody.
Okay, embody. Thank you.
So first of all, I fully credit me being able to articulate and also have clarity of thought to journaling.
Yeah.
I journal a lot. And from anyone who's out there and they'd like to really grow their personal development, not personal development, personal awareness, self-awareness, please start journaling today. Today, when you're listening to this episode, you must journal. If you want to be self-aware, you must journal. Radical journaling. Radical journaling. So journaling is something I've been able, and it has really helped me with clarity of thoughts and my articulation of utterance. It's very important for you to be able to articulate yourself. That's number one. Number two, I work out. Yeah. Juzi kalimuni kufe.
But we thank God.
Thank God. Thank God for life.
I almost died working out, but I'm okay, right? This is the
This is the hard part of things.
What we wanna check out.
What wanacheka? Walikuwa hapo nikikufa.
yeah. No, it's okay. But I work out, and working out is one of the best things that you can do to yourself because it's not just for your physical. I always say that working out does more for your mind than it does for your body. Like your body is just like a mere consequence of what you're going to actually expect. If there's something that will exercise your willpower, working out. Like you think that you can't lift this weight, but being able to remove it from the ground up and bring it down, that is you fully exercising your willpower muscles. You are going to die and still show up the following day to the gym, right? If there's something that will help you have a very huge willpower, it's working out, and also be able to like talk yourself out of negative self-talk. So working out is another thing that I fully embody. I also meditate for calmness because one thing I really struggle with is anxiety. Anxiety has done me bad. And it's something I don't know. I just can't get a hold of. Like, it's something I've never been able to get rid of.
I'm
anxious.
very anxious person.
So, even before this podcast, I was very anxious. Indeed, when we were starting and I started talking, like I was very anxious. Even right now, even like something is so crazy how you can get past it, but the problem is like anxiety is bad. And if there's one emotion I can get rid of from myself, if I had the power to, it's anxiety. So meditation really helps me with that in such a way that even if I'm anxious right now, I'm still able to like express myself, talk to you, have this holistic conversation, and look like I am not anxious, but I am. But I am. So working out, journaling, meditating, uh, any other practice. But there's something I also wanted to say about working out is it has a chemical reaction in your brain. So some of the things that cause us stress is cortisol, right? And working out, some of the ways that you can remove cortisol from your body, which is a stress hormone, is through sweating. And when you're working out, you will sweat like nobody's business, right? It really opens up your pores and you're able to sweat. So if you're having a low day, if you're having a stressful day, you're always told to go and work out. And the sense behind it, you remove cortisol and your brain starts producing dopamine and serotonin, which are the happiness, excitement hormones, right? Yeah, and also for women, it actually helps so much with hormonal regulation. So if you're a woman out there, magal them, please start working out. It will really help you with your hormones because as women, we experience a lot of variations because of how our bodies are engineered. So working out helps.
So as you talk about aspects, when you talk of financial wellness, economic wellness,
Very good question.
yeah. So what are some of the few things in the interest of time that you are practicing? Also, because young people kila mtu anataka kuomoka, you all want money, but it starts from weeping, as we've been so without. That's why in our podcast.
Wow. So what are those? Yeah. As we did so without and out.
Profound, thank you.
Yeah.
So what are those things that you're doing to bring in the frequency of attracting money? Well, and explain it in the sense of wellness. It's part of wellness to also grow well.
Yeah, 100%. It is. Because for me, back to my childhood, like I did grow up with a lot. Probably that's a story for another day.
Yeah.
And the problem with not growing up with a lot is it's not about even the situation that you're in as a child, but it's about the mindset that you adopt from your parents. Yes. To you now as a child. And that's why we call it generational poverty and generational wealth. It's not even about the actual wealth. It's not about the actual situation. It's about the mindset. The reason why we have dynasties is because they have a certain mindset that they transfer from one generation to another, right? Similarly to poverty, there is a mindset that you adopt from your parents, especially if you grew up from a situation where there was so much scarcity. There's so much scarcity to an extent where you just think that things are always scarce and there isn't any abundance in this world. And if there's something I struggled to adapt, leave alone being articulate with English, I couldn't speak English for her. Leave alone being able to speak in front of people. The hardest thing I had to learn and adapt is an abundance mindset. I still struggle with it up until today. I think I'm 50% there.
Yeah.
I'm not yet there. Like just being able to feel it. Not even think, feel that there is abundance in this world. That this world has plenty of cash sitting somewhere. Actually, there's someone who's called, I've forgotten his name, and he says that there's a bag of cash in every country full of millions sitting there waiting for you to just go and pick it. Like feeling that within your body is one of the hardest things I had to learn and adapt. And I think for finances, for sure, it's about your mind because the moment I started moving from a scarcity mindset, which is feeling there's a lot of lack, that if you get an opportunity, I can't get why. That money is for other people, not you. Abundance is for other folks, not you. And you being able to transfer that to like a full-blown abundance mindset where you adapt the thought that there's enough for everyone. Actually, there's more than enough for everyone. Like ile pesa iko huku nje hatuwezi maliza. Like with this so much abundance, Kelly. Like this so much abundance to an extent. If you want to be a billionaire today, you will become. Why? Because there's a lot of cash, plenty of cash sitting around everywhere, just waiting for one thing, for you to provide value, food stop. It's not waiting for anything else, right? So in order for you, you have to start adapting an abundance mindset, especially when it comes to finance and also health. But finance, because that is what we are looking at right now.
Yeah.
Being able to believe that it's it's also possible for you, it's possible for everyone else. Like there's plenty of cash. Money grows on trees, guys. It does grow on trees. And like there's so much plenty out here. And being able to embody that and feel that. And for me, it was like constant reaffirmations. You see, the way we are told body positivity, tell yourself you look beautiful. So for me, what I had to constantly reaffirm myself is I am abundant and I live in an abundant world. And there's more than enough for me. More than I can even follow, more than I can even imagine, more than I can even perceive. And believe it within my bones that it is possible for me because it has been possible for everyone else. Why not me? So, and you will attract that cash. And for me, it's a true testament. I've been able to do what to financially, something that maybe most young people can think it's not possible to have or accomplish at a very young age. So yeah, just have an abundance mindset. Please, 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 please have an abundance mindset.
Yeah.
And yeah, read books. A book that really shifted my mind. Like the first two books I read by Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad, Ash Blow Quadrant, and another book, Kai, Think and Grow Rich. Whoa, have you read that book?
No, Why? Finish it.
I've not finished it.
Please.
Yeah.
Finish it. Yeah, Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. The book, I read it. Someone gave my friend gave it to me as a present for my birthday when I was turning 22 last year. And I read that book. It has never been the same for me ever again. So yeah, please read.
You know, the energy in this room, I didn't scare congregants behind the scene. They are agreeing with their conversation. Mtasikia sauti zao huko kwa nini. But yeah. Naona director anatuonyesha time, but we can't end the conversation without me asking this question. And thank you so much for being so profound. Your journey is such a beautiful journey. How would you define becoming?
Becoming is stepping into your true self. Not even stepping into, it's going back to your true self. Because when we came to this world, we were full, we were whole, we knew everything until we started interacting with the roughness of this world.
Yeah.
So becoming is going back to your true self. Going back to that child that was born, that was whole, that was perfect, that knew everything, that was intact. She didn't even have any trauma. She was full. She was in a state of bliss constantly. And then I became this
person who's constantly battling anxiety.
Working towards that person.
Yeah, so becoming is going back to your true self. Because you were once that person before you start interacting with the real world. Yeah.
As we end this conversation, this is a question that I ask every guest on sets. Wow. Why do you still want to become?
Because I want to be self-actualized. I want to experience all that Wangui can become.
If that makes sense. Yeah.
So I want to experience me at the top of everything, of me. Does that make sense? Not of what I'll gain, of what I'll accomplish, of how many lives I'll touch. No. It's more about me being self-actualized and experiencing the highest and truest state of who I am as a person.
Oh, wow. Yeah, wow. Wangui Maina, thank you so much for that conversation. And to you, our viewers, if this conversation was of value to you as it was to me and add on to your journey of becoming, please subscribe to this podcast, share, comment, like, and show some love to Wangui Maina. And thank you so much, Wangui, for gracing our podcast. And just to wrap up the podcast, do you have something to say as a
closing remark, as a closing remark, or our audience? Sure. So please, to the audience, the people who've been listening, first of all, thank you for reaching this far. Because if you're in this part of the podcast is going to listen through, for sure you are on the right path. If these are the things and this is the type of content you're pursuing, what I'd like to share, first of all, Please follow me on LinkedIn.
Oh, actually, I forgot. Uy, poleni. Msinichinge. I forgot. Director anashinda akinionyesha time, but anyway, where can people get to you if someone wants to join Finding Me? If someone wants to be your client at Cornucopia, yeah, for sure, or digital marketing, and any other thing that you do, how can people access you, your organization, your company?
Yeah, thank you. So as I've said, or as I was saying, please follow, connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm very active on LinkedIn. That is where I post most of my content and most of the engagements that I do. That's number one. Number two, please follow Finding Me community on all social media platforms. If you're a young person, you want to personal develop, you want a safe space where you can just talk with your peers. If you want to find community, you feel isolated. If you want to learn and practice soft skills, Find Me community is the organization for you. So follow us and you'll be able to see events that we have. You'll be able to see upcoming cohorts. So right now we are having our 6th cohort. Yeah. And if you want to join in, you can be part of the 7th cohort. And yeah, it's been an honor for sure. And thank you for listening. And thank you for coming this far into the podcast. And I think my final words would be like, you shape your own destiny. We always say that destiny lies in the moments of choice. So make sure you're making the right choices constantly on a day-to-day basis, and you will actually get there. And yeah, pursue becoming. And thank you so much for having me.
Okay, and thank you, Wangui, for fellowshipping with us, serving with us on this platform. Thank you, and take it for granted. Thank you so much. And you know, community, thank you for listening. And again, my call to action is subscribe, comment, share, like, and keep the suggestions coming. Until the next one, bye.